Excuse me, I'm Ani. Most of you might know me as Dr. Crowsley from this past HvZ game. I don't know where to start. Probably the most logical place to start. For my game, every time I look at it, when I look at HvZ, I really like the stories that the admins tell to the players. I enjoy being able to be part of a story that they created for everyone. So I would really like to continue making stories for the player base. That is where I'm starting with my HvZ game. I have a story that I really want to tell all of you, and from there I'm hoping to figure out what mechanics people really like to play, what mechanics they really don't like, and I'm going to incorporate things that everyone likes, or a lot of people like, into my story. My experience with HvZ, I was a freshman last year and I played a bit of Peter's game. I played Evan's game as well, and I was an NPC kind of moderator for Bauman's game. I tended to make characters for myself for all of these games. And so I've always had that story part of it in the game. I've also looked at the mechanics. I've seen things that people would complain about. I've seen things that people really liked. And so I'm hoping to take bits and pieces out of my personal experience and bring it to the table. Taking suggestions of what I should say, yeah.
Are you taking questions right now?
Yeah, questions work too.
Okay. I'll just ask you the exact same thing I asked.
Music.
Yes. Okay. My first experience as a moderator was for a freshman admin who had only played one semester, and so I think that new admins are a pretty awesome thing. And I'm curious, as I asked Robert as well, being one of the newer people, what you're looking for in a mod staff and how you intend to use your mod staff.
I'm looking for completely open interviews. I'm actually hoping to get a few of the more experienced HvZ players as mod staff, whether it's just as players or whether it is like previous mod staff or previous admins, whoever wants to help. I'm also hoping to get a few fresh moderators who maybe have only about like a semester or 3, I think is about what we would have right now, a semester or 3 behind them, so that they can be like, hey, I think this would be a really cool idea, and then both the, I don't want to say inexperienced, but the fresh blood, I suppose, and the experienced players can kind of mesh their ideas together into something.
And then the second part of that question was responsibilities and how you intend to use them. Like, how much are you going to give to them to do as far as running the game?
That'll be mostly up to them. I personally really liked how Bauman's game was run, how everything, the mod staff was mostly hands-off unless they were actually in character. And that's probably something similar to what I would do, except maybe my mod staff would be completely just observing and I would have other people be my NPCs. Okay, Dave.
Alright, some players would argue that the lack of moderating experience could hurt, and the fact that you never moderated a game would throw problems in like balancing and factors like that. What qualities do you have that you think would help you prevent those kind of things from happening?
As far as game mechanics go, probably just the fact that I'm, no offense to any UGL players, but I'm studying to be an elementary school teacher. So I'm learning how to deal with large groups of people and keeping things relatively...
Right.
Large groups, low maturity levels.
Yeah, we are.
I wasn't, anyway, go, though, as far as arguments go, like problems with the rules or just arguments in general, I always believe that I'm pretty good at staying neutral in between two parties. I'm willing to hear out both parties, figure out, look at what the rules are supposed to be, and being able to put forth what I think is the best course of action and what the end result should be.
There's a pro-human, pro-zombie scale. Where would you consider yourself?
I would like to think I'm right in the middle. I actually, this was the first semester that I got to play. This was the first semester that I got to play mostly zombie, and I had a lot of fun with it. But I've also had fun being a human. So I want to be able to make a game where I kind of divide that line, but I'm still on it, and so I can make it fun for both the humans and the zombies without favoring one side. I guess I do first.
Okay, you said you wanted to tell a story, right?
Yes.
Stories have scripts. What do you intend to do when or if your story goes off the script? What happens if, I don't know, for instance, humans wipe a mission and they all die? Or they let the central NPC die?
I'm sorry, okay. Honestly, probably I would keep my mind open to having those possibilities happen. I wouldn't expect every game to be like, this is exactly what's going to happen because I've had that much. I don't expect all the ends I see to happen. And so I would probably make like little backup plans where if it did happen, I would have, if I didn't make the end that I wanted, I would be able to deviate from the original storyline and continue on without hindering the play at all or much.
Okay, so we've beaten the idea of a lack of experience, but I guess I want to twist it a little bit by saying that when you're trying to run a game of 200 plus people, an air of respectability needs to be there in terms of listening to your administrator. And I feel like experience is one of the biggest things, and being a face is even bigger in terms of that, whether that's a good thing or not. But if you're surrounding yourself with a moderating staff that is quote-unquote more experienced than you are, how do you intend to garner the respectability and the ability to control your game yourself? Because I look to an admin, not their mods, to tell me what I can and cannot do.
I would definitely be if I were to become the admin over the course of the next year up to possibly even past my game, I would be putting my face out there. I would be trying to make myself known. It actually has helped me to not be as out there, specifically with Bauman's game. Most people were able to just see me as Dr. Krausley instead of seeing me as Ani. With this, I would actually probably, while I would have moderators that were more experienced, I would also ask them to remember that while I don't want to be completely controlling of the mod staff, I am supposed to be the figurehead. So I would, to effectively sum up what I'm trying to ramble on about, I would be trying to get my face out there. I would be going and being an active part of the UGL, and I would also ask that my mod staff help me with that.
Okay, you mentioned on your application thing that one of your missions would be based off finding the items. Would all of the missions be based off of finding and basically running into the other team?
No. But of the mechanic ideas that I have, that one is the most developed right now. So that one is the one I want to put forth. I would be working on other mechanics as the year goes on. But that is effectively what I want to see. I want to see more confrontations with zombies and humans. And I also want to see the zombies being able to go, they don't have to just go find where the human mission is and disrupt that. They have their own mission that they have to go do, and it's possible that the humans have to be the ones to go stop the zombies. The mission that I posted it would definitely be tweaked. It's not perfect, but the confrontation, the fact that both of them have something to do, that's what I would want my missions to be like.
I've asked every candidate so far this question. As far as what we see in advertisement, getting prepared for games, that kind of thing, at least in my opinion, anyway, it's gotten pretty stale. It's a lot of the same repetitive things over and over again. What kind of new ideas would you and your mod staff bring to the table, and how would you, in turn, work with the PR staff that you have in place?
Probably, I mentioned one of the big things I would really like to do is possibly getting someone who's very pro-zombie and someone who's very pro-human and having them actually have like a chase around campus one day if they're willing to do that. So it's not a training mission, it's not the game, but it's HvZ going on in the middle of school, in the middle of campus. So people actually see this and go, huh, what's that? And they would be able to go up and ask about that. I would also be perfectly willing to take ideas. I am not going to pretend that I'm a master of advertising.